Hi everyone, I'm Hannah and today we're going to get into some back bends. So making sure that your fabric is about hip width apart at our standard height, and we're going to start with some cat-cows and then we're going to go through 3 of my favorite back bend poses. So let's get started. We're going to bring our wrap on, so bring our hands around the front of the fabric, cut it through the middle, so finding that middle piece, bring our hands onto the fabric and then rolling it down. So it should be around about shoulder width apart, or you can bring it all the way together, whatever feels most comfortable for you. I'm going to bring our feet about hip width apart, standing just behind the rigging point. So bringing our shoulders all the way up to the sky, inhale. Exhale, dropping the shoulders down towards the back of our shoulder blades. Inhale, standing tall, lifting our chin just up, keeping it nice and neutral with the neck. Inhale, and exhale, reach it forward into our forward fold. Reaching it out, head between the arms. Taking a few breaths here. Really reaching with the hands, bringing the chest down towards the earth. We're elongating the spine here. Dropping down the shoulders. And then let's add a little sway. So swaying all the way to the left, reaching the hands. Inhale. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, come over to the right, stretching along the side body. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. 2 more of these. Exhale it over to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, back to center, really reaching with the fingertips here. And then let's slowly roll it all the way back up. This time we're going to come into our full cat-cows. So extending it all the way out, bending the elbows, dipping the chest down towards the ground. And then we're going to arch up and gazing towards the front of your room. Exhale, rolling the spine, extending the arms, bringing our pelvis to our chest. Inhale, dip it down, eyes gaze up, bending at the elbows. Exhale, coming into our cat. So rolling through these with your own breath. Maybe taking a little side stretch when you're in your cat, coming to one side to the other. I really want to make sure that our backs are nice and stretched and ready for us to get into those back bends. Really want to do this safely. Few more breaths here. Rolling through it. Taking your time in each of the poses. And inhale, let's roll it all the way back up. This time we're going to come down, bending our elbows and also bending our knees. So extending it all the way out, bending your elbows. Bend your knees down, dropping the head between the shoulders, bringing the chest towards the earth, dropping your butt down towards the ground, feeling that stretch in the shoulders. Inhale, exhale it out. One more breath here. And then let's slowly roll it all the way back up to standing. Okay, so now we're going to put our backpack on. So just bringing the fabric behind us and onto just like your bra line, thumbs facing forward, fingers on the outside. I'm going to come underneath the rigging point, bending the knees and pushing back into our Star Watcher pose. So you can heel toe your feet out to the side of your mat. Bring your hands either behind your head or out to the side, stretching out the fingers. So we're placing all of our weight into the fabric here and just releasing into the hammock. So bring your hands, whatever feels most comfortable for you. We're going to bend to the right side, bringing either your elbow or your hand towards that knee. And exhale, come back to the opposite side. So bending one knee at a time, stretching out the fingers. And just bending along the side body, really big expansive stretches here. So feeling it all the way along your side. Few more breaths here. You can gaze towards the ceiling. Expansive stretches, really feeling the opening up of your sides and your body. Open up the chest. 2 more breaths here. Let's come back to the center. Bring your hands back onto the fabric. Heel toe your feet so they're about hip width apart. This time we're going to extend our arms out behind us, really reaching for the opposite room. Engaging the abs, trying to get down too much yet. You're going to extend it all the way out, reaching as far as you can, maybe dropping the head. See if you can reach to the opposite side of your room. Inhale and exhale. Bringing our hands behind our back, maybe clasping them here, arching our chest up towards the ceiling, maybe bringing that neck all the way back if that feels good for you. And slowly, this fabric could little inch just down towards your waist. Just go as far as you need to, as far as feels good for you and your back flexibility at this moment. Taking a few breaths, opening up the chest, dropping down the shoulders away from the ears. Arching the spine, coming into that really beautiful back bend. Maybe shut down the eyes here for a few moments. Opening up the chest. 2 more breaths here. Inhale and exhale it out. Bring our chin to our chest, hands onto the fabric, bending the knees, and let's roll it back up. We're going to keep our backpack on and bring the fabric around to the front of our shoulders. I'm going to drop down the hands, drop down the head, drop down the chest towards the earth and release it into our ragdoll pose. So just swaying from side to side, maybe rocking your head no, nodding your head yes. Just maybe arching our spine up a little bit, just really getting in to all the areas of your back that we're stretching and we're working today. 2 more breaths here. And let's come back to the center and slowly roll all the way back up and release your head at the top. Okay, so we're going to come into our frog pose. So it's our first inversion of the day, so take it easy and making sure that you're taking precautions with yourself and you're ready to get into this pose. But we are doing a few poses, a few back bends from frog. So just keep that in mind for how long we're going to be upside down. So bringing the fabric to your sacrum, just behind us there, not on our butt, not in our waist, our sacrum area. We're going to take a few steps back, put all of our weight into the fabric, and take a few steps underneath the rigging point so that our whole body is against that piece of fabric. Bring our knees up, our hands are on the fabric. Our knees are wide. Our legs come wide into our straddle. Bring our feet around the front of the fabric and hooking on and releasing all the way down if you feel comfortable there to release it all the way down. You can bring your hands all the way down to the earth, spread it out to the side, and let's sway our knees from side to side. Really releasing the spine here. Maybe shut down the eyes for a few moments. Maybe if you're feeling comfortable there, bringing your feet together. Inhale and exhale. Release any tension in your hips that you might still be holding. Let's create space in our spine here. And maybe adding that little sway from side to side with our knees, getting into our back a little bit more. Okay, coming back to the center, we're going to bring our left hand onto our right knee and bring our right hand behind us. And we're going to come to this little side twist. So it's an upside down twist, so making sure that you are actually getting a twist. It's just a little bit of a different one because we're upside down. Working into our back there, our side body. Exhale, release, and come back to the other side. So right hand onto our left knee, and left hand comes back behind our body. Maybe trying to look over that left shoulder for that twist. 2 more breaths here. Okay, and release it back down. Where have we gone? Okay, so we're going to come to our pigeon pose first, because that is a variation of a back bend, and it is a back bend. So we're going to come to this pose. I'll come onto the side so you can see slightly better. I'm going to release my right leg out to the side, internally rotate, and release that leg behind us. So that might be enough of a back bend for you, and that's totally fine. If you feel like you want a little bit more, see if you can bend that back knee. Now let the weight of that leg do a little bit of the work. Let the gravity fall first, and then grab a hold of that foot if you can grab it. Grabbing that bind. Maybe you can grab it with both hands. Pulling that hip down towards the earth, pressing your hand into, your foot into your hands, really opening up that hip and arching the spine. A really nice back bend on that side. One more breath here. And let's release the foot, bring it back around the front, and let's repeat on the other side. So we can bring our left leg out to the side, internally rotate that hip back, and letting that hip just drop down. See if you can bend that back leg, feeling that gravity, pulling that hip down, pulling that quad down. Seeing if you can grab a hold of that foot behind you, and arching the spine, pushing the foot into the hands, into our floating pigeon pose. Really lovely back bend. 2 more breaths here. Making sure that you're getting into this pose first before we go to this next one. So our next one is going to be full camel. So only do this one if you're feeling really bendy, but you can give it a little go and see if it's for you or not. So bring your hands back onto the fabric. Release the other foot back down. And it is a balancing act. We really have to arch our spine and release our legs back. Seeing if you can grab a hold of those feet and bringing your chest down. Bring that out. Oh, it's a really, really, really big back bend. And it's a balance. We're balancing on the fabric, upside down. So this is also known as inverted boat or camel pose. So bring your hands onto the fabric and bring one leg around, back on at a time, and release ourselves back. So you can try that one a few times. It may take you a little while to find that sweet spot, that balancing spot. So I taught you the harder version first, and then we're going to get into our last pose, which is very similar, but we have a little bit more fabric. Okay, once we're ready, bringing our hands onto the fabric, releasing our legs, and coming up just halfway, bringing your knees in and hands up. We're just going to take a little moment because we've been upside down for a little while. So just hang out here just for a moment, taking note of our breath. And let's release our feet down and come back to our ragdoll. So bringing the fabric in front of our shoulders and releasing it all the way down. Oh, that should feel really nice. A little counter stretch for our back. A few more breaths here before we try our last back bend version for the day. Coming back to the center, and let's slowly roll it all the way back up. Okay, so for our last pose, we're going to do a very similar pose to what we just did, but we're going to fan out the fabric, give you a little bit more space. So it does change the feeling of this pose a lot. So we're going to fan it all the way out, and then we're going to fold our fabric a few times. So bring one edge all the way through the middle of the fabric to meet the other side. Coming out like you're folding a towel or something. So bringing the other edge, bring it back through one more time. So we should have a decent amount of fabric, but not too much. It's nice and folded over itself. So bringing our thumbs into the fabric behind us. And we're going to take a little seat in that nice space that we've created. Pulling it up to make sure that it covers just around our hips. Need it a decently high, and making sure the fabric also comes just underneath our butts here. So to come into that same pose, bring your hands around the fabric here, bringing our knees wide, leaning back, bring our legs into our straddle and our feet around the front. We can release it all the way down, back into our frog pose, but with a little bit more padding around our butts and our hips. So this one might feel a little bit nicer in the back bend that we're going to do. So maybe working up to the one we just did before with this one will help you out. But it's always good to try the hard thing, try it out, and then see where you can work it up to. Otherwise, you'll never try that one again. You'll just stay with the good one, the one that feels great. But it's a beautiful back bend. Okay, let's release our left leg out to the side, bending it back behind us. And let's repeat on the other side. So to show you on the side, obviously we have a lot more padding. It's a lot more fabric that's going to hold us. So it makes balancing a lot easier. Push you this time, because you're balancing a little bit more, might be a little bit easier for you to arch your back, push your hands, your feet into your hands, and really push into that back bend, into our floating camel pose. Take a few breaths here. Really see if you can bring your knees in towards each other and bring your feet together. See that how that changes the pose a lot as well. We're also working our glutes a little bit more here, as well as arching in the spine. One more breath. And let's release our feet, bring your hands onto the fabric, bringing one leg around the front and the other leg around the front. And releasing it down. Okay, maybe swing from side to side. Ooh, you can feel it in the back there. So give yourself a little bit of a stretch out. And let's try that twist one more time. So bring your left hand up onto your right knee. Bring your right leg, right arm behind you. So coming into that spinal twist. Inhale, come back to the center and repeat on the other side. Right arm to right knee. Left hand behind you. Spinal twist. Inhale, come back to the center. Let's bring your hands onto the fabric. Bring your legs wide and come back up to our seat. And come back to standing. We're going to do that ragdoll one last time. Bring the fabric in front of the shoulders and release it down. Adding the sway from side to side. Ooh. Really nice. Okay, so I feel free to stay here for a little bit longer. Come back and roll it all the way back up. And do any last little stretches that you might need just to make your back feel really nice. But I hope you enjoyed those 3 back bends, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.